Germany had one unbreakable superpower. It survived 44 years, and it died on Tuesday night. 16 matches, 3 penalty shootouts, 2 red cards, a record that stood since 1982 gone, and a nation of 500,000 people that pushed the world champions to the very edge of humiliation. This was the maddest week in World Cup history, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly who's winning this tournament. If you're new here, subscribe because this ride is only getting faster. This is the round of 32. Let's start with why this round even exists. 48 teams, 12 groups, and for the first time ever, a knockout stage that begins with 32 survivors. Purists hated the idea. They said it would produce mismatches. Instead, it produced one of the most dramatic weeks in the history of this sport. 16 matches across 14 cities in 3 countries, with giants falling and outsiders rising almost every single night. Now, the earthquake. Boston, June 29th. Germany, 4-time champions, against Paraguay, a team that finished 3rd in its group. Julio Enciso rose to head Paraguay in front just before halftime, and even when Kai Havertz glanced in an equalizer, something felt off. Jonathan Tah thought he'd won it from a corner. VAR said no, foul on the keeper. Then came penalties. And here's the thing, Germany had never lost a World Cup shootout, ever. Havertz missed the very first kick. Woltemade missed. Tah missed. Jose Canale buried the winner in one of the proudest records in football, died at Gillette Stadium. One night earlier in Monterrey, the Netherlands were seconds from the last 16. Cody Gakpo, playing through unimaginable personal grief, had put them ahead. Then, in the 91st minute, Issa Diop equalized, and you could feel 2022 all over again. Because in the shootout, Yacine Bono did what Bunu does. He saved from Somerville, Ismail Sabari smashed home the winner, and Morocco knocked a European giant out of a World Cup on penalties for the 2nd tournament running. And that was just the start of this round's obsession with late drama. Steven Eustachio won Canada its first ever World Cup knockout match in the 92nd minute. Gabriel Martinelli came off the bench and saved Brazil against Japan in the 95th. Erling Haaland struck in the 86th to give Norway its first knockout win in the country's history. And Harry Kane, England were losing to DR Congo, a Brian Sipenga goal after 7 minutes, until Kane equalized in the 75th and rifled a winner in the 86th. Across this round, falling behind didn't mean losing. It meant the story was just beginning. Meanwhile, all 3 hosts survived, and each did it the hard way. Mexico waded through a storm delay at the Azteca, then blew Ecuador away with Julian Quiñones and Raúl Jiménez inside 31 minutes. Their first knockout victory in 40 years, a 4-decade curse buried in one night. The United States beat Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0, but lost Folarin Balogun to a straight red card moments after he had scored. Malik Tillman's free kick sealed a 10-man win. In Canada, that Eustachio winner didn't just win a game, it changed how a nation sees itself in this sport. Then came Miami. Argentina, the reigning champions, against Cape Verde, an island nation of about 500,000 people playing knockout football at their very first World Cup. Messi scored, of course, his 7th of the tournament, but De Roy Duarte equalized. Lisandro Martinez restored the lead in extra time, and Sidney Lopez Cabral made it 2-2 in the 103rd minute. The champions were staring at a shootout against the smallest nation ever to reach this stage until a late Argentine winner arrived. First credited to Christian Romero, then ruled a Cape Verde own goal. Argentina survived, barely, and nobody who watched it will forget Cape Verde. History kept coming. Egypt beat Australia in a shootout. Imam Shower's early goal was canceled out by an own goal, then 4 perfect penalties won it, and the Pharaohs march on. Belgium were dead against Senegal, trailing 2-0 late, before Romelu Lukaku struck in the 86th, Yuri Tielemans equalized in the 89th, and Tielemans won it from the spot in the 125th minute. And in Toronto, Cristiano Ronaldo, in his 6th World Cup, scored his first ever World Cup knockout goal, a penalty before Gonzalo Ramos broke Croatia in stoppage time and sent Luka Modric into international retirement. Not everything was chaos, though. Some teams sent messages. France dismantled Sweden 3-0, Kylian Mbappé scoring twice to become the all-time leading scorer in World Cup knockout football with 10 goals, with Michael Olise pulling every string. Spain eased past Austria 3-0 behind a Mikel Oyarzabal double and a Pedro Porro header. And Switzerland quietly smothered Algeria 2-0 through Breel Embolo and Danandoy. While everyone else flirted with disaster, the group stage juggernauts barely broke a sweat, and that should terrify the rest of this bracket. And early this morning in Kansas City, the very last domino fell. John Arias tapped in at the far post from Luis Suarez's cross after just 14 minutes. Colombia suffocated Ghana 1-0, and the bracket was complete. 16 matches, 16 stories. Quick question before we go forward. That Balogun red card, fair or a robbery? Drop your verdict in the comments and hit subscribe while you're down there because the round of 16 breakdown is already on the way. So look at what this chaos has built. Canada versus Morocco in Houston, two teams that have never been this far together. Paraguay, Germany's conquerors, get France in Philadelphia. Brazil against Norway means Haaland hunting the five-time champions. Mexico and England collide at a heaving Azteca. Spain versus Portugal, an Iberian classic with a semi-final feel in the round of 16. Belgium and the US at a rematch of 2014, with the Americans missing the suspended Balogun. Egypt stand between Messi and the quarterfinals. And Switzerland meet Colombia, the two stingiest defenses left in Vancouver. 8 matches in 4 days. Every single one of them worth your time. The Golden Boot race is just as loaded. Messi leads on 7, Mbappé sits on 6. Haaland and Kane lurk on 5. 4 of the best scorers on the planet, all still alive, and several of them on a collision course. And just listen to the numbers this round produced. 3 penalty shootouts, 5 matches stretched beyond 90 minutes, at least 8 goals from the 85th minute onward, before you even count the extra time winners. 2 straight red cards, 2 decisive own goals, and a disallowed goal that changed the fate of a 4-time champion. 5 teams kept clean sheets while winning by 2 or more. And every single co-host, all 3 of them, is still standing. You could run this tournament 100 times and not script a week like that. Step back, and the first ever round of 32 told us 3 things. 1, the gap is closing. Paraguay, Morocco, Egypt, Cape Verde, and DR Congo didn't just show up. They took giants to the edge, and sometimes over it. 2, fitness and squad depth now decide World Cups. The winning goals of this round belonged overwhelmingly to the final 15 minutes, to substitutes like Martinelli, and to teams that simply refused to stop running. And 3, the old hierarchy is genuinely wounded. Germany are out, the Netherlands are out. Croatia's golden generation is finished. The World Cup that people feared would be bloated has instead become the most open in living memory. 16 matches down, the bracket is set, 8 more battles in the next 4 days, including Spain against Portugal and Messi against Egypt. If the round of 32 was this good, imagine what's next. So here's the deal. Subscribe and ring the bell because we're covering every single round of this World Cup. Predictions, tactics, and the stories nobody else is telling. And tell me in the comments who lifts the trophy on July 19th. I read every single one.